Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, beautiful, magical souls. All right. Okay, well, I'm sure for the next few minutes, we're going to be letting people into this container. So I would love to hear from you in the chat. If you're able to put in the chat, you can tell me where you're coming from, like where you're at in the world. And if you are maybe in my downline, or if you're just Team YL, you can put that in the chat. We'll just see where we're at as we open up this container. I'm excited to share this masterclass with y'all today. For those watching live or the replay, Washington State, Team YL, welcome, Nicole. So happy you're here. I know there are some people that are actually some of my pals that aren't even with Young Living yet. So we're excited to have you here too. All right, DFW and your downline. Yes, ma'am. All right, Texas, Team YL. Jennifer, where are you at in Texas? We are going to dive in just a minute. We're going to give people a few minutes to make their way here. And this is not going to be a masterclass on productivity, right? This is going to be a beautiful recalibration for those of you that are ready to build your Young Living business as a brand partner from a place of peace. And maybe you have not been building from a place of peace, or maybe you're just here for a little bit extra tips and tricks. Small town of Edna near the coast. Oh, I love that. My dad lives in Port Aransas, on the coast, obviously. Houston, Texas, Team YL. Yes, we got lots of Texas in the house. Ottawa, Canada. Yes, Sarah, soon to be a YLer. Yes, yes, yes. We're excited. Okay. Northern Illinois. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm sure we're going to welcome many more people there. It's so funny how some of these master classes work, right? We have over 500 people on this list for this master class. And, a lot of people are going to watch the replay. So those of you that are live, take advantage of this time. Okay. At the end, I'm going to do a Q&A. So if there are questions as I go through the teaching for today, if you have questions that relate, just put them in the chat. And if it flows, I'll do that. If not, we'll get them at the end. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So how are y'all feeling today? I'd love to hear from you. If you are doing the business, you're a brand partner already. How do you feel in your business? Let me know how you're feeling in your business. Are you feeling aligned, joyful, like just everything's so good? Or are you really looking to kind of clean maybe some of the energy up in how you're leading your business? Maybe some inspiration on how you can lead your business with more peace. Just let me know in the chat. And if you have your favorite oil with you, which you oily ladies probably do, definitely apply that oil. I put Believe and Clarity on right before I got on, just to really set that intention for me to be able to pour into y'all. All right, Kim, frustrated, need inspiration. I've got you. My intention for after you experience this teaching, this transmission today, is that number one, you feel more peaceful in your body, that you walk away with tips and tricks to regulate your central nervous system. And we're going to talk about why that is so important in this masterclass and how that really affects the growth of your business, the success of your business, the sustainability of your business. All right. And I want you to walk away inspired. I want you to walk away going, I've got this. Like, I'm going to implement these things and I'm going to move forward with more peace, more grace, more clarity, and more excitement for the future of your business. All right. So I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. And I just want you to take a few deep breaths. If you're not new to my world, you know we do this all the time. But if you're new, just go ahead and close your eyes, whether you're on video or not. And I encourage you to be on video if you can. This is a safe space for you to show up, but I understand if it's a little nerve-wracking. And just take a couple of deep inhales through the nose, expanding the belly. Gentle exhale out the mouth, softening the belly. We call this a soul up breath in my soul up community. In through the nose, expanding the belly. Exhale out the mouth, softening the belly. And just do a few more rounds of that. Just coming into this now moment, coming into peace, grounding into this moment with us in this masterclass, knowing that you showed up here, whether live or watching the replay, for a reason, that you're fully supported, you're safe. And I encourage you, as you open your eyes, just to be as present as you can. Y'all know per frequency with the oils, like, right? And per the laws of the universe, what you give your attention to is what you're going to anchor in more of and expand. So the more that you're engaged in the chat throughout this masterclass, the more that you are paying attention, the more you are going to actually receive all of the things that I want to share with you. Okay. And at the end, when we do the Q&A, there's no silly, no small questions. All right. Okay. So for those of you that are new to me in some form or fashion, I think it's important that you hear a little bit of my story and how I got to the place over the last almost 8 years where I have been building from peace and not from burnout. Okay. Building without the burnout, how I healed the hustle and why. So I have been with Young Living coming up early fall for 11 years. And when I found Young Living, or Young Living, I guess, found me, which I'm sure a lot of you will recognize yourself in this story. But I previously and still am a transformational life coach. I've been a transformational life coach for 15 plus years now. I also, before Young Living, had my own social media agency. Okay. And then I met my husband and got pregnant. And I'd always wanted to be a mom, but I was told my whole life I couldn't have kids, lots of crazy stuff there. But when I had my precious little miracle baby, my husband and I had made a decision to really cut back on our living. And I stopped taking life coaching clients and I shut down my social media agency, stopped taking new clients. I filtered them out. So 6 months postpartum, we had trauma and tragedy hit our family. I was not working. I was just being full-time mom. We were barely getting by. My husband is a career firefighter. He's been in the service for almost 20 years at this point. And he had broke both of his legs in a training at the fire department, the big city that he was trying to get into from his small city. Long story short, they unlawfully terminated him. We had to go through all these lawyers, all this stuff, but his income was gone. And I was taking no clients. So we were like stressed to the max, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually broken, financially broken. And I was also up until this point for 6 months struggling severely with postpartum anxiety and depression. Okay. So a friend of mine, because I've always, for the last 15 plus years, been a life coach and done all this work, I share very vulnerably online. And I guess I seemed a little desperate because my girlfriend reached out to me and she was like, you need some help. Are you okay? And she was like, I've got these oils, want to send you. I was like, okay. I don't even know. When she first said oils, if you were on the last masterclass, I was like, literally thought she meant lube. I was like, I don't think that's going to help right now. Like that's the last thing on my mind. Like it's still a running joke between Joanna and I, but she sent me these oils and literally they just instantly started to work. How many of you got your oils in, and if you started with oils versus like the cleaning products or whatever, and like you just started to immediately feel this shift within you? I remember it was joy and valor and stress away were my 3 top ones. And that's when all 3 of those used to come in the kit. And my baby blues just started to lift. And I was like, holy smokes. Like they just instantly started to transform my life. And so I started to do what I did before this and everything before, and I shared about it online. And I was a part of a Fit Mom community. So in that, all the mamas just started asking me. I didn't know how to sell them anything. I didn't know how to, I didn't even plan to do the business. I didn't even know it was a business. Okay. And so I called my girlfriend Joanna and I said, "Hey, these other moms are wanting to know how to get this kit that you sent me. Like, how do I, do that?" And she was like, "Oh, well, let me tell you about it." And she said network marketing. And I about, well, no, I don't want to do network marketing, because I had one previous experience of network marketing and it was horrible. It was your typical pushy, salesy BS. So I was like, nope, nope, nope. And she was like, "Look, just give your link out. That's all you need to do. We'll figure out the rest later, but you're going to make $50 every time one of these mamas buys this kit." And I was like, "What?" And you got to remember, we were in financial turmoil. We were getting foreclosure notices in the mail. Okay. We were broken, in financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I was like, okay, $50 a pop. And I had 50 moms in my, in my inbox, like asking. I was like, oh my gosh. So I just started sending out the link. Had no idea what I was doing besides that. And then and as it started to got that first paycheck, I was like, wow, holy moly. Like, it paid for everything. Like, that first paycheck, because I had already built a solid foundation, and just paid for everything. So I was like, okay, this is crazy. Well, I decided I was going to do the business, but I was going to do it my way. No pushy, salesy BS, no cold calling, cold messaging, none of that. Right. But what I didn't do up until 8 years ago, for those first 3 years, is I didn't know anything about healing or regulating my central nervous system or leading from a place of alignment or peace. I was leading from survival, and it worked. I was overgiving. I was people pleasing. I was micromanaging. I was controlling. I was literally handing everything, hand holding everybody in my organization. At one point, my community, which used to, my brand within Young Living used to be Motivation Tribe. We had over 5,000 people in just that Facebook community. At one point, we had 250,000, 250,000 people in my downline. And I was literally just handing everything over and killing myself. Okay. And I say that because I know that a lot of you right now are so sucked into the business side with overgiving, hustling, and we're going to dive into what that really means. And I want to help you clear that so that you can lead your business and your life with more peace. Okay. So 3 years and 1 month, we hit the top rank in the company, Royal Crown Diamond. Okay. That same month, I was diagnosed with neurological Lyme disease and multiple co-infections. I realized through a spiritual awakening that I had a very unhealthy relationship to alcohol, and I was depressed and living in a constant state of anxiety. Like, it was horrible. On the outside, though, nobody would have known. You can look back now, and I'll share some of these with you eventually, but you can look back now and see how like dead I was in the eyes, because I had hustled myself into such extreme burnout that I was a shell of who I really should have been, or thought that once you reach the top, once you got it all, you making the millions, you got all these people that are cheering you on and celebrating, you're helping, you're making a massive impact, right? Because for me, and I want to hear if this relates, for me, yes, I was doing the business out of survival, meaning had to make the money. I had to, like, it was like we needed the money, so I had to make the money. But honestly, I could have, made the silver paycheck, which was the first rank that I hit. I think I hit silver like in month 2 or something crazy, because again, y'all, don't use that as an expectation, which is something else I'm going to talk to y'all about, because I had already had a massive following. I owned a social media agency. It's what I did for a living. I was a transformational life coach. I was a part of a fit mom community. I already had a basis, right? So it was flowing in really fast. Okay. So don't use that. And that's something else that I learned. And so with that, though, I should have been the happiest and healthiest I'd ever been. And I wasn't. And that's when I had my spiritual divine feminine awakening, where everything I knew had to come kind of crashing down in the way of how I was leading this business. I literally and physically could not keep going the way that I was going, or I was going to. Okay. And what I realized was, in that moment, no matter how much money I had made, no matter how much impact I had made, I was still functioning out of survival, which meant that it was never enough. How many of you building your business have built your business and you're like, going for the first rank, going for the second rank, or trying to enroll. You have a goal and da da da. And then when you get there, it still maybe feels fulfilling for like 2 seconds. And then you're like, okay, what's next? What's next? Right? It's because you are still in survival mode. Okay. And hustle, I'm writing a book right now. It's years in the making. Those of you know, we can all laugh about how long this has taken me to write this dang book, but it's called Heal to Hustle. And hustle to me, and what I've healed over the last almost 8 years, hustle to me is push, force, pull, drag energy to achieve some kind of success, whether it's here, the rank, whether it's a dollar amount that you want to make a month, whatever it is. Okay. It's this thing up here that you think you can work hard enough and push and grind and get to that. And then that thing is when you get there, that's when you're going to be happy. That's when you're going to be worthy. That's when you're going to be valued. That's what hustle is to me. Hustle is not hard work. Hustle is misaligned hard work. And hustle is often just glorified trauma responses. Overachieving to feel like you're worthy or that you're valuable or that you're the good little girl or good little boy. But here's what we don't understand until we understand it is that chronic dysregulation, chronic being in your fight or flight, your central nervous system being all out of whack, blocks creativity. It numbs your intuition. It leads to massive self-abandonment where you will shut down and escape and numb out in all kinds of ways. How many of you have ran your business to where you are just exhausted? Where you just feel like you are, I see you, Deb, raising your cute little hand. It's like, it's where you feel that it's just never enough. Or you go to bed at night and you're like, what did I even do? I remember I used to work 16, 18-hour days supporting my team, doing this, doing that. And then I get to the end of the night so overwhelmed, so exhausted, so amped up. And I would just crash out. But then I'd like look back and realize I don't even know what I really did because I was so unconscious, right? Been there. Yes, yes. Making sure I can see the chat. Oh, y'all just disappeared off the screen. Hold on a second. What is going on? Tech loves me. That's my new affirmation. I just have to believe it for it actually to work. Tech loves me. Tech loves me. Okay. Oh, inside joke. Okay. But your nervous system needs to be priority. And I'm going to dive deep into that with y'all today. But your nervous system was never designed to run your business or your life in survival mode. And what I have learned is when I hit that top rank and all the money in the bank and all the accolades and all the impact that I created and all the things, right? Like everything should have been great. On paper, it was like, oh, perfect. But it had cost me my health and my happiness. And I promise you, I like the saying, when people are like, money doesn't buy happiness, but it can buy things that make you happy. Sure. And I do believe that. I do believe money can buy happiness in a lot of ways. If it's money that you've created from aligned, soul-led, heart-led work, your mission, the impact you want to create, not at the expense of your health and happiness, not at the expense of your sanity. That's where you have to really watch yourself and watch what you're doing and how you're leading. So how many of you grew up where y'all didn't have a whole lot? Maybe you weren't super poor. Maybe you were poor. Maybe you just grew up and it was like, you always kind of knew there was barely enough, or maybe there wasn't enough. Because a lot of times for people like me, okay, who grew up with a lot of trauma, if you know my story, I have a lot of trauma in my childhood. We grew up with not a lot. And what happens is that we think scarcity is just a mindset, like, oh, let's heal the scarcity mindset. Usually it's deeper than that. It's an imprint. It's often passed down generationally. It's why you look at some families and it's like they're just like, it's just like wealth in their line. And then there's other, it's like just generation after generation of struggle and heartache and all these things. But if you're here, I want to encourage you that maybe, just maybe, and if you're a soul up woman, you're going to get this full throttle. You're here to break those generational curses. You're here to get out of survival mode for the future generations. You're here to lead a different way, even if it's just for yourself. So a few signs that you're building from survival, and I want to hear in this chat if you feel like you're building from survival, then you are constantly trying to think of new things. You're constantly creating from fear and urgency or lack. It's never enough. You're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You're feeling just this crazy anxiousness in your chest, like there's never enough time. There's never enough prospects. There's never enough. You feel like if you rest, then you're lazy. That is how you know if you're building from survival and scarcity. Because when you're building from need and survival, that's going to create anxiety. It's going to amplify fear. It's going to activate more of I'm not good enough. And we're going to talk about how we're going to shift out of that, but building from like a sacred devotion to something bigger than yourself, but also something in alignment with your heart and your soul, that's what's going to make you magnetic for abundance, for the new customers. They're going to feel that peace. Everything is energy, and your central nervous system is like your little radar. Okay. Your auric field, I'm not going to get too woo on you, but you have an energetic field. And if your central nervous system is constantly in fight or flight, and it's just like, and I'm anxious and I'm depressed, and oh my God, this is never enough. This is never enough. This is never enough. Imagine that those thoughts and that feeling in your body is emanating out into the field, because it is. And whether they know it consciously or not, your customers and prospects feel that. They feel your need. They feel your scarcity. They feel your lack. And those are low frequencies, and those are repellents. So as much as I grew my business massively in 3 years from hustle, right? And I still have an incredible downline, an incredible team, multiple RCDs under me. Like they're the real rock stars. Okay. As much as that, you can get there. You can make it happen. If you don't sleep and you hustle and you force, push, pull, drag, you can make it. But every single time that you build from those energies, you will crash and burn, and it will never be sustainable. We want to grow sustainable businesses. We want to grow businesses as young living brand partners that feels good to the heart, good to the body, good to the mind, good to the soul. And so one of the first things that we have to recognize is and gain awareness on is, are you leading and running your business from a place of need? Where in your business have you been building from fear instead of trust? One of the biggest things that I can tell you that you might not want to hear is that this business can be such a beautiful, magic, just expansion of who you are, the impact you want to create, the lives you want to change. And it can be wildly abundant. But if you are leading it with scarcity and lack, and that this is the only thing you have to survive in the entire world, it will never be sustainable. And you will continue to cycle through. Y'all, almost 8 years ago, I hit that 7.5, 7.75, hit that rock bottom. Okay. But guess what? I had hit many a burnout in those 3 years. I just wasn't paying. Didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to listen to my body. I didn't want to listen to my mind. I didn't want to listen to my soul, my spirit telling me to slow down, to stop forcing things, to stop fighting, to stop. Like, I didn't want to hear it because I wanted more. If you know me personally, you know, even back then, I'm not an egoic person. Like, I wasn't consciously going, I want more money. Give me more. That was not it. I was attached to my why. I was attached to serving others. I was attached to making sure that my son that was my biggest why, is my son never had to struggle like my husband and I did growing up, never had to be in a position of poverty, so that the poverty to me in my childhood, situations led to severe abuse. Like, I just was doing everything to fight for my family. It was all in my head of integrity, right? Like, all in the high frequencies. I wanted to give more. If you know me, I'm a really big giver. We have paid people's mortgages. We have bought babysitters, cars. Like, it wasn't like greed. It was this survival in me, and this desire to give, but the survival and the hustle and the overwhelm and all of these things that were really like making it all forward momentum is what ended up being what crashed and burned, because I never got out of survival mode. And that's what I want to help you get out of if you are in survival mode. Because I know that this may seem like, oh, energy, oh, this central nervous system. No, this is everything. Because you are energy. And if you are frantic, then you are pushing people away and you don't even know it. You are not a magnet and an attractor for more abundance, for more soul aligned clients, you're just not. And you can force yourself to get there, but it's not sustainable. So I want to teach you first a really tangible practice that I want y'all to start practicing ASAP. Okay. I always suggest when I teach this that you commit to at least 10 days. This is going to help regulate your central nervous system. It's going to create more peace. It's going to create more happiness. It's going to create more joy, more accessing higher levels of consciousness and awareness. Okay. And this is something that I created and been sharing for over 5 years now. And it's called MTM, Mindful Transition Meditations. MTM's for short. And this is a powerful higher conscious activation to help shift your nervous system throughout your days between tasks. Okay. And here's why these are important before I dive into it. I want y'all to take a deep breath. You might want to have some oil. My soul up ladies know what's about to happen. But I want to walk you through a normal day. Okay. For some of you, and maybe a day that you've experienced recently. Okay. So you wake up in the morning and you wake up late. This is just an example. You're going to get the drift. You wake up in the morning, your alarm goes off late, or you wake up late and you're like, oh crap, I've got to be at that meeting and I've got to, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. And then you're in this like instant reaction mode. And your central nervous system is like zing. And then you're running around like crazy and you're like, okay, you're trying to get yourself ready. You're like, oh crap, I got to wake the kids up. So you run and you like go and wake the kids up and the kids are all over the place because you're frantic. So they're frantic. You're feeding into the energy, right? Take a deep breath. Don't forget to breathe, have some oils. And then you're frantic and you're running around and your kid can't find their shoe and you're running around like a crazy person, can't find the shoe. You stump your toe on the side of the couch and you're like, oh my gosh. And then you take a second and you're like, oh, no. You say a few choice words and you're running around, kids still can't find their shoes. So then you grab another pair of shoes and you're like, oh, and then you're running out the door. You forgot to make their lunches. It doesn't matter. They'll have to figure it out at school, whatever. So you're in the car and you're driving them to school, trying to get them to school or wherever. Woo, 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 because you were rushing, you were speeding. So then instead of being a little bit late, now you're going to be an extra 15, 20 minute late because this cop is sitting here talking in your ear, trying to tell you the law, whatever, you're getting more pissed off, more pissed off, more pissed off. So then you get to the school drop off and your kids are like, bye, I love you. And you're like, yeah, I love you. Bye. Okay. Have a good day. Blah. Jump out. Okay. Then you rush, get to the meeting. You're really late. Then your boss is like, what's going on? And you're like, well, and you're freaking out and you're late and you fumble through your presentation, whatever. Okay. This can be for anything. Okay. An appointment of any kind. So you bomb whatever it was at work. You're pissed off even more. Then you get in the house. You're like, oh my gosh, I got to go, or not the house, the car. Got to go to the grocery store. So you're swerving. Somebody swerves, cuts you off, flips you off. And you're like, oh my gosh, no. And you flip them off back. Then you're driving to the grocery store. And because you are just a hot ball of chaos, you get into the parking lot. You accidentally bump somebody's car. You decide you're going to be nice, which you always should be. Leave a little note. You go into the grocery store. Then somebody else is in a mood, and you're a magnet for this now because you are just going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Somebody hits you with their car. The checkout person's rude. You get home after driving. Somebody else cuts you off. You pull into the garage. You get into the house. The kids have gotten picked up from somebody else or the dad. You get inside, and the kids are like, mommy, hi. And you're like, oh, what do you want? And then it's just a cluster from there. And you go to bed and you lay down after the kids and all the chaos of bedtime routine, all the things. And then you lay down in bed and you're like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. And your husband, if you have one, or your wife, whatever, tries to like touch you and you're like, don't even think about it. I just want to lay here. And then you spiral and all the things. Okay. Take a deep breath. Okay. That may have sounded super dramatic, but do you know how many people live their lives like that? How many people wake up instantly in reactive mode, instantly just spiraling, instantly sucked into the chaos of everything? Now, what would have happened if you would have done MTMs? I'm going to tell you what MTMs are. Super easy. Challenging for those of us that are used to go, go, go. Okay. All you're going to do for mindful transition meditations for the next 10 days at least is you are going to stop after every task. Put your hand on your heart and breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. I usually say 30, 60, 90 seconds. Count that out in breaths. If it's 3 long, deep, methodical breaths, if it's 5 deep, long, methodical breaths, the point of this is a couple of things. During this, you're going to set your intention to call all of your power back. First thing when you wake up, you start these. Calling all my power back. Clearing any cords or any energy from the previous task, even that first one in the morning, clearing it from sleep, all the things, and getting grounded in this now moment. Then you get up and you go and you realize, okay, so what the MTMs, right? I'm talking about every task. So say that you woke up late and you're like, oh God, I'm late. Okay, it's all right. You do a quick MTM, ground into this now moment, get tapped into higher levels of consciousness and awareness, and then go about. Guess what? You go to make breakfast really quick. After you make breakfast, you go wake up the kids. Your kids can't find their shoes, but guess what? Because you are grounded, your energy is clear, you are highly conscious in this now moment, you have a regulated central nervous system, you know exactly where that shoe is. Because when the previous scenario, when you're frantic, oh my gosh, reactive, blah, 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 all intelligence and levels of consciousness are not there. But because you're grounded and you're in this now moment and you're here, you're going to have clear Clarity. You're going to have a clear idea of things, a process of where a shoe is. You're going to know that speeding isn't going to help because you're going to be set back 15, 20 minutes, if even more, if you get pulled over. So you know that the point of this, the MTMs, and I'm talking everything, this is a challenge. After you brush your teeth, now I'm going to go wash the dishes. After I get off this Zoom, MTM, gonna go make my little boy lunch, right? We're gonna have a team meeting actually, but you know what I get, you get the drift, right? It clears the energy. It keeps you connected to more higher levels of consciousness and awareness. And it also keeps your energy field clear so that you know what you're a magnet for. Everything is energy. Law of attraction is real. Whether you believe it or not, you don't have to believe me if you don't for some reason. It's real. Everything's energy. And the energy and the frequency that you're emitting, you are going to attract back to you. So if you can stop reacting from urgency and start responding from clarity and regulation, you're going to notice a huge shift in how you live your life. Because how you do one thing is how you do a lot of other things. So if you are running around like a chicken with your head cut off in your just life, your business probably has a similar energetic signature. But we have to take these sacred pauses in order to make sure that our central nervous system is regulated. In order to build a business without burnout, it is a requirement to have a regulated central nervous system and to have somatic practices for your life and for your business that support your central nervous system. If you are tuned into your heart and you're tuned into your body and you're tuned into your spirit and you're tuned into this now moment and you're tuned into your central nervous system and regulating and being at a state of peace, then you know that this now moment is the only truth. The past is a memory. The future is a hope or a worry, but this moment is the only truth. And how do you want to navigate your life and your business from this now moment? Okay. Let's get into a couple of other tangible practices to regulate your central nervous system. Okay. There's lots of things you can do. As a somatic practitioner, I could give you just endless things to do, but I'm going to give you some of the most important ones. So the MTMs, okay. That's the sacred pause, mindful transition meditation, just being in that moment, right? Somatic shaking. This is a big one for me. We hold a lot of energy, and especially if we're moving through a stressful time in our personal life, and then we take that and we don't clear that energy, then that's going to be infused into our business. So shaking, there's ways to do this. It can be as simple as this, but real somatic shaking, you're going to be standing up. If you're in soul up, you've got these videos, but you're going to stand up, which I can't do because I will disappear off the screen, but you're going to stand up and you're going to gently start by lifting your body up onto your toes and letting your heels hit the ground. Okay. And then you're going to sink your breath just as you can. And you're hitting. The point of the hitting of your heels is it is going up your spine. You're feeling the vibration. You're clearing the energy. Then you're going to start the shaking of your body, making sure your heels are still hitting and you're in a rhythm in your breath. Okay. So let me see if I can. It's not going to show me that. So I'm hitting my heels on the ground. Okay. I'm feeling all that energy. Then you can pick the pace up and shake. Take your hands over your head, twist your butt, and keep your breath going. And you do that, set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes. And I'm telling you, you're going to clear some mass. I feel lightheaded from that. And what was that? 20 seconds? You're going to regulate, you're going to clear energy, you're going to activate high frequencies of clarity and creativity and inspiration, right? That's one of my favorite practices, MTMs and the shaking. Of course, we can talk about things like breath work, meditation, all these things. Going on walks. Because a lot of times, the women that I work with that are leading their businesses from hustle, the main thing that's the issue is you're not taking care of yourself. You're stuck in survival mode. You don't have time to go on a walk. You don't have time to meditate. You don't have time to 30 seconds of shaking. We all have the time. I have women that work with me in Soul Up that have 5 kids. I have clients that have 5 kids, that have newborns, that do this work because they understand. And what I want you to understand is that what is the point of building your business, making all this money, if you're not healthy, if you're not happy, if you're not aligned, if you're not feeling your absolute best? What's the point? Right? If you're stuck in hustle, one of the biggest things that I've had to heal is the regret and the shame that I felt for neglecting my family those first 3 years in the way that I did. Don't get me wrong, we were always all 3 together. I was a work from home mom, blah, 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 but I was neglectful in the name of I'm doing it for my family. But really, I was sacrificing really precious. Again, we spent a lot of time together. We still spend all time together. It's Hill Tribe 3. We are connected, right? But that quality time, it was like, mommy's working, like, oh, my health, right? So this also goes to simple for y'all. Make sure you're using oils that support your system. Okay. Your hormones, your stress, these things are important. If you're a woman watching this, I usually speak to women. So if you unless my husband and I do couples work, sacred union work, we have, a program and we do coaching for couples. So that's usually the only time I speak to men is in that program or in those coaching calls. So if I'm speaking to you and you happen to be a man, because it's all Team YL, I love you. It's just what I do. I speak to women. So just understand that. Like, that's just how my brain works. Okay. Danny's going to do some men stuff too. But as a woman, if you still have a cycle, I encourage you, part of this building without burnout is to cycle sync. Is for me, if you're spiritual like me, I also pay attention to the moon like they've done for millennia, right? I listen to my body. So that's important too. There's a good book called, I think it's Inflow, INFLO, I think. And it's a cycle syncing book if you haven't, because there are times to be working your business more than not, right? Because a lot of times people in my spiritual divine feminine awakening almost 8 years ago, I want to tell y'all what I did, because I've been teaching not to do this for a long time. This is a lot of how I teach my clients and soul up women is I don't want you to do what I did. If you go from wounded masculine, which is the hardcore hustle, okay, that's the grind it, survival energy, got to control everything, overgive, people please. That's wounded masculine energy. I don't want you to go from the hustle and then swing way over to the feminine, which is great because that's the work I do, is divine feminine embodiment work, empowerment work, activation work, awakening work. But what I did is I swung way over and I hung only in the feminine, which then turned into wounded feminine, which then was just like, oh, whatever, it'll happen if it's meant to happen, whatever. right? What I want to teach y'all over this time, and I've got an invitation for y'all to join my Alchemy and Oils community. I'm opening up to Team YL, so stay tuned for that at the end of this. I want to teach y'all how to harmonize both your feminine, your healthy divine feminine, and your healthy divine masculine energy, the foundation, the support, the structure. I want you to harmonize those two so that you can build a sustainable business. Okay. I want you to learn to build a sustainable business. That's the whole point. Okay. So, with this, though, we have to start to tune in and do a little bit deeper healing work, healing of the mind, healing of the body, in order for you to know, oh, I get to reprogram this. How many of you, if you feel comfortable saying, and if you don't, that's okay. And I know that this is, most people are going to watch the replay. So you might not answer this, or you can in the community once we upload this in the community. How many of you feel like you need this business? You need the paycheck. Like the paycheck that you're earning from Young Living is a need. Like your life would fall apart without it, right? That is the aspect that we have to heal within ourselves, because there is a difference between need and actual need, right? So there's a difference between like need and real need, like I can't survive, right? We want to start to heal those money wounds. We want to start to, and that starts, and the reason I'm starting with the central nervous system is your central nervous system needs to be regulated for you to feel safe in your body. Your body is what is keeping the score. If you haven't read that book, it's a great book. Your body keeps the score. My body keeps the score. But your body keeps the score. So you intellectually might be like, oh, like I don't need to keep hustling. I can like take my time. I can set a plan and all these things. And I'm going to talk to y'all about that in a second. Y'all are going to get a bonus with the replay, all the things, a bonus teaching. But we have to train our body first to feel safe and to be regulated, because you intellectually can be like, oh, I don't need to be in hustle. But if your body is still functioning with anxiety and dysregulation, it's going to trigger you to feel like you have to hustle. Okay. So that's why the central nervous system work is so important. So important. That's why we have to heal our body and our central nervous system in order to create and not build with burnout. How many of you have heard the sayings, like money doesn't grow on trees? Okay, money doesn't grow on trees. You got to work hard to make $1. Nothing's handed out for free. Remember all these things growing up. I always laugh with the money doesn't grow on trees, because I'm like, money is like cash is paper, and it kind of does come from trees, right? Like I'm always like, that doesn't make sense to me. I was a little girl and I remember my dad saying that, and I was like, yeah, it does. It's paper. And I remember, and he was like, that's not the point, right? It's like, oh, okay. Work hard. And especially because it is all women on here, especially us women, like y'all, if you're a part of my world and my other communities, you've heard me talk about this, but how many of you feel like you've had to be tough? You've had to be strong. You've had to hustle to survive. Like very few people that I know have just been like handed a silver spoon. And if you have, great, good on you, right? But like very few people that go into hustle, like they've had to in some aspect, or they felt that they had to. Right? That's what we want to start to peel back layer by layer with this central nervous system work. Okay. I want you to go ahead and start dropping any questions you have. We're still got some things to go over, but I just want you to start dropping some questions. But a lot of us high achieving women feel that we have to hustle. We have to force, we have to push, we have to pull. But once you start to slow down and get intentional, it may be scary to heal the hustle. I'm going to be completely transparent because that's just who I am. When I stopped hustling, a huge portion of my business crumbled down. But I knew in my heart and soul that that's just how it had to be. I was no longer okay with exchanging my health and my happiness for a dollar amount. I remember when I got those results for that neurological Lyme disease, which by the way, I do not have anymore. So if they tell you it's incurable, it's not. And people always ask like, oh, did you like do all these treatments? I did 6 months with a naturopath and took supplements and tinctures before my soul, because I'm a spiritual guide and an alchemist. If you don't know, before soul and source, God was like, nope, like you're going to heal this by healing your body. You're going to heal this by healing your energy, by healing your central nervous system, by regulating, by stopping the hustle, by coming home to yourself. Okay. There is power in slowing down. So I'm not going to lie to you that through this process, and this is one piece, y'all, and I'm going to share with you more to come, but this is just one piece, but it's to me the foundation of everything is starting to prioritize your central nervous system to get out of fight or flight. This will be the foundation for everything, but I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it's not scary or that it doesn't come with some income dips or that it doesn't come with XYZ. But that's also where this journey comes in of what really do you value? People will say all the time that they value their family or that they value peace or they value happiness. But then when you look at how they live their life and how they run their businesses, that's not the case, right? There's a dissonance between like what people say they value. And then again, there's a lot of people like me that were like, but I'm doing it for my family, not realizing that like, if you're not going to be around for your family if you keep this up, right? Or how many times are you going to miss out on the look on your child's face when they're talking to you or your partner's face when they're talking to you because your head's down? I remember still going to a Young Living event just a few years ago where somebody, an RCD, stood on stage, and no shame, no judgment. It was just an observation that kind of made me sad. An RCD standing on stage teaching, like, you just grind it out for 3 years, just grind it out for, give yourself 3 years for financial freedom, 4 years, even if that means that you're serving your kids fried or frozen chicken nuggets every night and glued to your phone. You just grind. And I was just thinking, please don't do that. Like, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, y'all. And I oftentimes, as morbid as it sounds, I will move ahead and go to my deathbed and go, am I going to be proud if today was my last day of how I lived my life, how I was in my relationships, how I led my business? I can promise you the things that you won't regret. You're not going to regret making another $1,000, $10,000. You're not even going to regret not making another million. You're not going to regret not having 200 more followers on Instagram or Facebook. You're not going to regret not signing up 10 more customers with Young Living. You'll regret missing out on quality time with your family. You'll regret not taking better care of yourself as you grew your business. You'll regret not getting outside more. You'll regret not having more self-love, you're going to regret those things. And I don't want you to have any of those regrets. I don't want you to have that. So we have to start to regulate our central nervous system to come home to ourselves, to a deeper level of self-love. And also, when we regulate our central nervous system, it helps get out of here, which is up here is where the ego and the programs of your past, your childhood, or society telling you what success looks like, we get to reprogram those by creating that safety in our body. And then what's really cool is then you're going to start to create and be a magnet for more abundance, more customers, more brand partners, more, but from a place of alignment. And you're going to look back and go, wow, I can't believe that I used to like work 16, 18-hour days to like just to grind it out, just to hustle, just because I didn't feel like I was enough. But now that I know my worth, my value, my central nervous system is my top priority, my spiritual connection to source creator God and my soul is the top priority, my connection to my family is my top priority, then I'm a magnet for abundance everywhere. And that's what I want y'all to understand and want you to do the work to get to a place where it may seem scary. but it's doable. It's possible. Okay. Sarah says, in my last opportunity, I always felt like I couldn't do enough to get people interested or to buy, but I realized it's a lot, also not my responsibility to be a hand holder either. Yes. And I'm going to be doing a whole other teaching. This is one of the first chunks of information because it's the most important. But there are ways when you are in your power and you're not leading from lack and scarcity, okay, that you're able to grow. And also, like you said, it's not your responsibility. Our responsibility as brand partners is to be in our power, be in our truth, have a regulated central nervous system so that our energetic field is open. When you're hustling and controlling everything and micromanaging and you're like, oh my God, it's not enough. I'm going to grip onto this because it's not enough. This is your energy. But when you have a regulated central nervous system, you're like, I welcome it all. Give me all the abundance. Customers feel safe to come to you. Your energy feels safe. You feel peaceful to people, whether you know it or not. Right? That's why it may sound so far-fetched or woo-woo or whatever, but your central nervous system and you being at peace and this healing journey needs to be your top priority. Right? Yes, used to, but have realized there is more to life than business. Yes. And some people take that as like, well, then your business isn't going to succeed. Here's the deal. And I'm going to be completely honest, just like I told you, there might be a dip in income when you start to do this stuff, but I promise you it will come back. You have to know. And that's part of the power is like regulating, not working from the place of need, all these things. But there is more to life than business. And your business will eventually flourish and flow and become something that feels so good and in alignment. And it might take you a little bit longer. I know that when we were growing our business like hardcore for those first 3 years back in the day, the whole thing we taught our team was, what if it only took you 9 years, 9 years to become a millionaire, 9 years to be at the top of the company, 9 years, one rank a year, right? Like that was one of our things. And I'm sure I've all heard it. One rank a year, blah, blah, blah. All the while we're sitting there hustling and killing ourselves. And we did it in 3, which is not sustainable. And I often feel that 9, 10 years to get to the top is sustainable, right? But even if it's not, you're going to have forward growth, forward momentum, right? Even if you don't hit RCD or whatever, like as long as you're in alignment and you're working from a place of, I want to make an impact, I want to serve, I want to help people, and you get to create that beautiful supplemental financial income for yourself. You get to have it all. But it might take a little bit longer than these people like myself or other people that you've seen, all those years ago, like just hitting those ranks so fast. Try to keep your blinders on because you never know their story. I had a following before. I had a social media agency. I was a life coach. I literally took my skills as a transformational life coach and a social media agency owner and literally just implemented it into my young. So I had all of this, right? And now I teach these things and I, serve and do all that. But it's like, we can't judge ourselves against other people. You get to do it in your own way. So the thing I want you to walk away with today, before I tell you about the community that I want to invite y'all to, and there's going to be more teachings and more masterclasses, and we're going to just peel this back layer by layer, but this is the foundation, is I want you to commit to yourself to the MTMs for 10 days. It will be challenging if you are used to just go, training yourself to stop between each task. I don't even want to tell y'all 30, 60, 90 seconds. I want to make this easy. 3 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's it. With the intention, calling all your power back, clearing inner energy because again, y'all heard the thing. If not, you snowball your energy and then you get to the end of the night and wonder why you don't have a sex drive, or you wonder why you're just completely exhausted and don't even want to cook dinner. We have to clean the energy. So you're not building the snowball. Okay. We're not building a snowball. I want y'all to commit to that for yourself, to show yourself. If you don't have time for 30 30 seconds or 3 deep breaths, then we got way bigger issues. It's all up in here. You've got the time, and you'll notice you're going to be happier. You're going to be more filled with joy. You're going to be more productive. You're going to be more clear-minded. You're going to be more creative. You're going to be more inspired. It will change your life if you do it. Going from hustle, 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 go, go, go to clear-headed is life-changing. So that's what I want y'all to do with the MTMs. That's my challenge for you. Now, the next step is I'm going to be sending the replay out in an email. You are also going to get an invitation to the new Alchemy and Oils community. Okay. Originally, I was going to open this community just for my downline, but I realized I was like, I love supporting crosslines. I love the community aspect. I love, love, love that kind of stuff. So we're going to open this up, and you're going to have a welcome video that's going to be featured that you can watch, introduce yourself. It's going to be a place for support. It's going to be a place for celebration. There's a lot of cross lines that I know that don't have upline support, or that don't feel like they've got a community, right? Or maybe you're wanting to rebuild, or whatever it is, right? Like you're wanting like fresh energy. So oily support, business support, community, celebrations. I'm going to do Team YL giveaways. There are going to be a few giveaways that are just for my downline. That's just how it is. But for the most part, it's going to be all of Team YL is welcome. This is not on Facebook. This is on Mighty Networks. It's a whole other app. And the reason I did that, and I've moved Soul Up, all my programs, all my bundles, everything that I do is on Mighty Networks now. And the reason I did that is because I still love Facebook. I just don't like Facebook groups. The algorithm sucks. And I feel that people come in to say, check their community for oils or their business community. What happens? You get sucked into the newsfeed of everything else. And then you look up 20 minutes later and you've been scrolling Facebook for an hour. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just lost everything. You know, like I was coming in here to get support on this, and I'm been sucked in for an hour, and I just wasted a whole hour of my day. And now I got to hustle more, right? Mighty Networks is you go directly to the Alchemy and Oils community, and it's just there. There's no news feed of outside sources. I mean, you'll see all the other communities and programs I have, but there's nothing to distract you except going into the Alchemy and Oils community, like to your, what's called your Ascension portal. And then you'll get into the Alchemy and Oils space. It's like, it's there, right? So there's no distractions. It's more, to me, streamlined, distraction free. So if that sounds exciting to you, you can totally join. We're going to send the information inside of the replay email. And this is the beginning of many masterclasses that I'm going to be facilitating. You're going to see in the Mighty Networks app, in the Alchemy and Oils space, you're going to see that I think there's 2 or 3 masterclasses previously that I've uploaded in there that you can tune into, but we'll just kind of keep loading them in, if you will. All right. All right, loves. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the first step in really coming home to yourself, to regulating that central nervous system so that you do not build your business from burnout. I promise you, I can't say it's not worth it, because everything that I learned from it, now I'm teaching and helping other women not hit burnout. Everything happens for a reason, but I don't want you to have to get to the place that I got to before you wake up and realize it's not worth it unless it feels aligned and peaceful and you're regulated. All right. You're welcome, loves. All right. Y'all, we'll get this replay out soon, by this afternoon later, and we will get that community sent to you as well. And we're sending you so much love. Bye, ladies.